The Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade has some concern fertility treatments like in vitro fertilization could be under fire as well. To discuss how this ruling could overlap into these treatments, Dr. Samuel Brown, the medical director of Brown Fertility, joins us. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. So first, we do want to be transparent. You all are against this ruling, really for medical reasons. Can you explain why?
What we're concerned with is just how the states reorganized how they regulate abortion or how they control life. For us, we in the early stages of life, when the egg and sperm come together, becomes an embryo. How do you define life? And that has an impact on what we do in fertility centers. For example, a miscarriage is not a life. An ectopic pregnancy is not a life. A molar pregnancy is not a life. So it's really a concern of how the state defines life on how that affects a fertility practice. Yeah. In general, it shouldn't impact us tremendously otherwise.
Let's talk about that, though, because there are some blurred lines when a person has certain conditions that you just talked about that wouldn't necessarily foster a healthy birth, that you believe would prevent you from doing life-saving surgery for patients in states that ultimately ban abortion. But there are some who say the law does not affect conditions like that. So what is your interpretation?
So at least in Florida, we don't know how the state defines this completely at this point. But for example, if a baby's born, I hate to say it this way, but without a brain, we know that that baby won't sustain life, and it only harms the mother's life during the pregnancy. And so making sure these proper scientific and medical definitions are involved as the state makes these definitions. We just want to make sure that the fertility experts are experts involved with helping families create families or create life are involved in helping making these definitions.
Yeah,
so we want to have a great communication with our regulators.
Right, and a partnership is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about these facts. So this affects a lot of folks. You know, 1 in 8 people in the U.S. faces infertility. It is a painful process if you want to have a child and you really can't. So, you know,
Yes.
You hear all these things and it might make you skittish. Do you want to go down this road? So how do you think this could affect people? You know, ultimately you said maybe not that much, but it could affect, you know, a person who says, I want to go down this road, but wondering how this will pan out.
Yeah, it's not going to affect us dramatically, but it will affect us in the sense that we'll change some of the things we do, like putting one embryo in at a time, and how many embryos do we have cryopreserved, and do we do genetic testing on embryos? It will push us into a different direction. It's not going to remove infertility treatment at all. We'll still be able to help families, help couples, infertile couples create families and have life and have families. It just pushes us in different directions on how we treat them.
Really opening up that conversation between the patient and the doctor and really understanding and working together. So we'll see how this pans out. We'll definitely talk with you, you know, as we move through this, especially when it comes to embryo freezing. I know that's another one that folks are talking about. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for joining us.
Thank you.